I have spoke very highly of Caleb Williams. I love Caleb Williams. I compared his ability to Aaron Rodgers. Anybody that's heard my take on Caleb Williams, and I'm not talking about the crying of what he did at USC, and I don't care what he did, crying to his parents and his mom, or whoever was out there, him crying to. What I do know about Caleb Williams is he has the ability to get out of trouble outside of the pocket. He knows how to throw on the run. He's got one of the best arms in football. I don't think anybody can argue that. Now, everybody's going to look at and compare Caleb Williams to the best players in the league, the Lamar Jacksons, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens. I'm not comparing Caleb Williams yet to those guys. But what I could say about Caleb Williams that I don't know if anybody understands the quarterback position and what I study on his footwork to be one of the best footwork quarterbacks I have seen since Aaron Rodgers. Everybody talks about, well, why is Aaron Rodgers so special? What made Aaron Rodgers so special with the Green Bay Packers? It was his understanding how to step into the pocket or move outside of the pocket, make the throws, run outside of the pocket, and do the things that Aaron Rodgers did so very well with a bad offensive line or even decent offensive lines or with no running games. Aaron Rodgers made players around him better. Now, Caleb Williams has DJ Moore. He's got Ndunze. He's got all these guys that can catch the ball. And Loveland looks like he's going to be a good player. We'll see. I don't know if he was the best tight end in that draft class, but they obviously thought he was. But the fact was, I saw a different Bears team on Sunday. I saw a team that obviously believes in the culture that Ben Johnson is bringing to this organization. I also look at Ben Johnson as a guy that was an offensive genius coming from the Lions that really loved to run the ball and has changed his style of game to more air-oriented type of game. And you could see it the way they play now. Caleb Williams might be a different quarterback than the quarterback that he used to coach. And I'm saying, well, he is a different quarterback. When you look at Jared Goff, he's a pocket-present quarterback. Caleb Williams is a guy that can get outside of the pocket and run the ball. So you could see the difference in styles and what you can do with Caleb Williams. Now, is he Lamar Jackson? No. Does he have the foot? Does he have the speed of Lamar Jackson? No. But he's got the footwork. I believe that you can compare to the Aaron Rodgers of the world, the Troy Aikmans of the world. When we go back in time, when we look at quarterbacks and guys that we say, wow, what made these guys so special? Troy Aikman, and I don't know if anybody remembers the Cowboys of the 90s. Troy Aikman had a good arm, but what made Troy Aikman so special is how he could step 3 steps back, make the throw, 4 steps back, 5 steps back, 7 steps back. And he understood the pocket, the presence of the collapsing pocket and stepping into the pocket and making those plays. Now, I'm not saying Caleb Williams is Troy Aikman. What I'm saying is you look at the comparison of ability that this kid has. I don't think we've seen a player this good at the position. If he figures things out, and he becomes a better version of Aaron Rodgers, this guy could be the best quarterback in the league in 2 years. And Ben Johnson might be the guy to scope that out and figure that out to make this kid that special. And that's what's amazing about this. And that's why I thought Justin Fields got the bad stick, because he had a guy like Eberflus. And then 1 year with Eberflus, you saw, even with Eberflus, you saw a quarterback that put up Jaden Daniel numbers last year. The only reason why it didn't really stick out is because they didn't make the playoffs and they weren't any good. So you look at Caleb Williams now, they're a borderline playoff team. They can win the division. They can outlast the Lions, maybe jump ahead of the Packers. And this is a team that believes in their coach. Eberflus didn't have the team behind him. Ben Johnson, you see him hopping on the sidelines, dancing and prancing with the players, flexing on the sidelines the other day. I mean, when you see that kind of enthusiasm, you see that personality, you want to play for a coach. Anybody that knows anything about sports, when you see a coach that dies with the players, that lives and dies with the wrath of those players, and has that kid inside of him like you see Ben Johnson have, I think you start to fall in love with the guy. And I'm going to tell you this right now. For all you Jet fans that think that Aaron Glenn isn't the real deal and he's not the guy, I have heard numerous times from Dan Campbell saying that Aaron Glenn, and I'm going to say this in a very fair way because I don't want to put down Ben Johnson and his success. He said after both guys got a job that both of them are going to be stars, but Aaron Glenn could be special. And when you heard that from Dan Campbell, and you understand Dan Campbell knows these two guys personally because they were a part of his coaching staff for a very, very long time, why are Jet fans throwing away a superstar type of coach? Why is everybody giving up on a coach in one season, in a half a season, when he doesn't have the right quarterback? This guy, Ben Johnson, was handed the number one pick in the first round 2 years ago. He was handed a guy that everybody, including yours truly, has the ability to be so special that could be compared to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron friggin' Rodgers, who I think in a 10-year span is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. I'm not saying Jaden Daniels isn't special, but Jaden Daniels doesn't have the athletically gifted things that... Now Jaden Daniels is athletically gifted, but the gifts that this guy has that... And they're going to be compared with one another for the rest of their lives because one went 1 and the other went 2. But Caleb Williams has something that Jaden Daniels doesn't have. And I don't think, I can't explain it, but you can see it on a football field. Maybe it's confidence, but Jaden Daniels has confidence. I don't know what it is, but it's like flair, okay? It's like, remember Ric Flair? Everybody likes wrestling, right? Woo! You know, Ric Flair would go out there and he would do woo and dance and do that like dancing around in the ring. He was so confident. And then you have guys like the Ultimate Warrior, okay? He would come running around the ring, shaking the turnbuckle, jump in the ring and just use power. And power doesn't always flare the fan. It doesn't bring the fan to fall in love with the superstar wrestler, okay? I think Caleb has something what I would call to be Ric Flair, that flair to it, that I think that just makes him different from, I think, Jaden Daniels or any of these young quarterbacks that we have been speaking about that have come into the league, CJ Stroud. I don't know if these guys have what Caleb Williams could bring to that table. He's Aaron Rodgers-esque because he doesn't know how to speak to the media. He's not very good at it. And when he speaks to the media, he talks like he is, he's the guy. He's the reason why the Bears are winning and doing it. And as well as he should think that way. But there are other players on that roster. There are other players on that team. That's a pretty good defense now. I mean, that team is playing pretty good football right now. It's not just him. But Aaron Rodgers made it seem, and I think that's why a lot of players didn't like him over there in Green Bay. We have players that liked him on the show, and then we've interviewed people that didn't like Aaron Rodgers. So to me, when you look at the facts of both guys, and they're very comparable, Speedy, very comparable.